Well, hello. Today's devotion comes from 1 Samuel chapter 8. Matt and I originally started doing these devotions for our church family, but we have decided also now to put them on our public Facebook page if other people would like to see them. So if you want to give people an opportunity to watch them, we have a closed group and an open group. The open group is Living Stones Ministries, so you can invite other people to like that, and they will have opportunity if they want to see the daily devotions. By the time we reach 1 Samuel chapter 8, the Bible teaches us that Samuel is now an old man. As we begin, remember, just as a little boy, as soon as he was weaned, he was taken in service to be with Eli and to serve the Lord. But there's a sad commentary that says his sons did not walk in his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain, and they took bribes and perverted justice. As a pastor, those few words speak to me because I think taking bribes can come different ways. I remember one time having somebody tell me if I didn't quit preaching about something, they were going to quit giving to the church. Well, I kept preaching, and I guess they quit giving, and they eventually left. But if I would have said, okay, I think that would have been like taking a bribe. And I feel like that maybe that's happening a lot in order to keep people satisfied. But anyway, that's what was happening. But the people of Israel, the elders, the leaders, they came to Samuel and they said, make us a king to judge us like the other nations. The other nations had kings, but Israel did not have a king. And it said this thing displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king. So Samuel prayed to the Lord, and here's what the Lord said. Heed the voice of the people and all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. A couple things I want us to think about here. Why was it wrong that they asked for a king? Other nations had a king. Well, because God was to be their king. That's the way it had been established with Israel. But now they were more interested in being like other nations. And God did not want them to be like other nations. He wanted them to be special and set aside to Him. And there's something else we need to see here. This was not God's will, but God has a permissible will. God will many times allow us what we want when He knows it is not the best thing. And sadly, many times when we kind of do that, then we follow that path and it causes us issues, damage, destruction, whatever. And we often say, God, why'd you let this happen in my life? So on down, God said to Samuel, however, you shall solemnly forewarn them and show them the behavior of the king who shall reign over them. Warn them what is going to take place if they do this. So in the next few verses, beginning with verse 10 all the way through 18, he went ahead and he told them what this king would be like. And here's what it says in verse 19. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Solomon. And they said, no, we will have a king over us, that we might be like the other nations, and that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. Samuel wasn't a Johnny-come-lately judge. He had been judge over Israel all of his life. He had been a godly man. He had been a faithful man. He cared for the best of Israel. And after all that, this had to be heartbreaking to him as he had tried to lead them in the ways of the Lord. So he comes back to them, warning them what God says. and they refuse to hear him. We want to be like the other nations. In our lives, in churches, in many areas, we can get in trouble because we want to be like somebody else. Another person, another church, another business, another preacher, another this, another that. God made us to be who he made us to be. You and I live in a democracy, but here's the truth. Jesus is king. And we need to live our lives as unto him. Today, I would ask each of us to test our hearts and say, is it more important to us to be like somebody else, maybe to have their approval, or to be who the Lord would have us to be? God bless you.